So you got a shot, got a ticket when you open.
And Mudiay knocks it down, his first basket as a Knick.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy CK2K here, and I'm back. Now, a lot has happened in the last weekend. We could talk about the trade deadline. I want to start off by saying I'm sorry once again for not being able to upload as frequently as I have been in the past. I need to make a shout out to my guy Alessandro. I saw your comment, bro. Really touched me. Appreciate it. Trust me, I will get back to it. I've officially been promoted or just moved to the official editor for the Fumble. Every single video from this day on is edited by me, so that's been taking up a little bit of my time, but now with my new schedule I'll be able to get back to making these videos. And secondly, with the Knicks losing, it's very hard for me to continue to make videos about a loss every single time because we know what the main problems are of the losses. I know I should have made a video about the trade deadline. That's what this video is going to be about. Without further ado, let's get into this video about Emmanuel Mudiay. Let's get it. So we're going to start off this video with a quick question about Emmanuel Mudiay. Emmanuel Mudiay is a 6'5", 200-pound point guard, drafted 7th overall in the 2015 NBA draft by the Denver Nuggets. A certain other player was also drafted in that draft. I'll give you one guess to guess who it was. Miss you, KP. Now, Emmanuel Mudiay averaged his best numbers in his rookie season. He averaged a career high 12.8 points per game, 5.5 assists per game, a steal, and this was all within 30 minutes per game played. He also made the all-rookie second team that year. In that same year, the Nuggets were 33-49, and that made them 10th in the West. Sadly, within the next 3 years, Mudiay was going to see his worst seasons, and it was only going to get worse each year up until the trade. In those 3 seasons combined, past his rookie year, he averaged only 9.4 points per game, 3.3 assists, and barely played 18 minutes by the time he was traded last week. With this trade, and I know he's only played 2 games to this point, it really made me think about the question. He has 2 years left on his contract, this year and next year included, and I think it's an option, a team option. I'm pretty sure we're going to pick it up. It really gave me this question. Should we settle for Emmanuel Mudiay? Now, I know in a sense that's a negative term, like settling, especially with our history when we're trying to improve, but should we settle for Emmanuel Mudiay? Now, before you sit there and say, no, we got Frank Ntilikina, also just hear me out. Now, Emmanuel Mudiay started off as a 30% shooter in the first few years in the league, but then slowly brought his percentage to about 42%, and since he's been a Knick, he's been shooting a great percentage. I mean, he's been shooting the 3. He's missed all 6 of his 3-point shots in the last 2 games he's played, but the fact that he's shooting them, the confidence is there. Now, the reason why I asked the question, should we settle on a guy like Emmanuel Mudiay, is because I feel like we should go after bigger hitters when it comes to this next free agency. There's a lot of, mid-level to, superstar talent in this year's free agency, like LeBron James, Paul George, etc., etc. We hear about it every day. But when it comes to the point guard, we only have the likes of Jeremy Lin, Derrick Rose, Chris Paul, which is most likely going to go back to the Houston Rockets, but like Tim Frazier, Tony Parker, and we have other guys that are restricted like Elfrid Payton, Yogi Ferrell, Dante Exum, Shabazz Napier, so on and so on. But you can see that there was only 2 names in that list that really meant anything. So this is why I asked the question, should we settle on Emmanuel Mudiay, because I feel like he has that potential. We've been hearing reports about his brother saying that since he's been on the Knicks, he's been going back to being the China Emmanuel Mudiay, the guy that everyone projected to be such a great player. And I don't know, I kind of like the spark that we're getting from this guy. He's a big body, he's athletic, something we don't have on this team. We don't have an athletic person other than Michael Beasley that pushes themselves to get to the hoop and gets fouled and stuff like that. And I really like that about him. I mean, Frank's been doing that more and more, but let's get to the point of Frank Ntilikina. Now, Frank Ntilikina has been having an okay season. He's been up and down, back and forth, coming off the bench, hasn't been really given a chance, but you've been seeing the flashes of the player that Frank Ntilikina can be. Now, a lot like Emmanuel Mudiay, he was a great player overseas. So the ceiling for Frank Ntilikina is still sky high, and he still has a lot of time to reach his potential. But that also goes for Emmanuel Mudiay. Emmanuel Mudiay is only 21 years old in his 4th year in the league. There's just a lot of upside that I like from Emmanuel Mudiay's game. He's a guy that really pushes to be a better player every year. We've seen that. But of course, when your minutes come down and you have players ahead of you like Jamal Murray, he was pushed to fail in that experiment in Denver, and I feel like him being a Knick, his energy has been refreshed. But like I said, he's gonna have another full year to play with us if we pick up that option, which I'm pretty sure we will, and he'll get a chance to play with the likes of Kristaps Porzingis. Now, a combo of him and Frank Ntilikina right now doesn't sound like anything special, but again, these are 2 young guards that have potential and have NBA ready bodies at the point guard. And I feel like this could be a system for the long run for us to, you know, build into our own kind of dynasty rather than us doing what we've always done in the past and hope and pray that we can pick somebody up in the free agency or pick some massive player up in the trade and think that that's the way that we're going to win the game. I feel like we need to pull like a Golden State Warriors kind of thing where we, you know, a homegrown team with the players that we have with the youth. I feel like this trade was a great trade. I'm going to miss Dougie McBuckets, but to pick up a young athletic guard like Emmanuel Mudiay, this has been a blessing in disguise. But let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people have been crazy about Trey Burke. I know a lot of people still want to see Frank Ntilikina start. I know a few people probably are iffy about this Emmanuel Mudiay trade. Yes, he had a great debut game, 14 points, 10 assists, and then his second game he didn't really do much, only 7 points, about 3 assists. I like it a lot. A few months ago, the dude was burning us from the 3-point line and from the 2. So it's there. It's just a matter of, you know, him growing up and getting into his own. With New York City behind him, the sky's the limit, and we've seen that with the likes of like Chris Porzingis and those kind of players. But that's my plea to hopefully, you know, continue with Emmanuel Mudiay. I know this is a random video. I know, again, we played the Sixers yesterday. We haven't really won a game since KP's injury, so this is gonna be crazy. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Emmanuel Mudiay is somebody I'm a fan of. I would love to see us, you know, grow and technically build around him. If we can focus on, you know, wings like 3s and 2s and, you know, some other big men and use what we have with Emmanuel Mudiay and Frank Ntilikina, I think that can start us off with a great, you know, contender in the future. But let me know what you guys have to say. I'm your boy CK2K. Again, apologize about the lack of uploads. I will be back on track. Check out the fumble. Your boy's editing all those videos, okay? Also on the Weekend Zone. Check me out. Check the channel out. Love you guys for your support. We out here. Much love. Peace.